Let's get to that part then, in terms of what Russians are saying, even pro-Russians, like pro-Russian militaries.
Yeah.
Let's put this up there, which is that they are being absolutely savage towards Putin and the Russian military, saying, quote, "We have already lost." Many bloggers and people on Telegram slamming the military failures. They're showing they're getting much angrier, especially given the gap between the official line and the reality on the ground. You can't deny whenever you have to give up territory. And remember this, Russia itself has not published its actual military losses since March in the early days of the campaign. We have no idea how many thousands of troops they have lost. It could be tens of thousands, actually, at this point. It really is just stunning. And I think what we are seeing with Russia is Putin has tried to avoid mass conscription, any sort of mobilization of society towards total war, because that would require political buy-in by the populace if this is really worth it.
Yeah.
He's tried to keep this as a sideshow, kind of like what we did in Iraq and in Afghanistan. You know, in the first couple of years of the Iraq War, 2004, 2005, most of the public, I wouldn't say they lost interest, like it was on the news, but it wasn't fully driving everything until things really went awry in 2005. This is going to require Putin to make a real choice. He's like, okay, am I going to go all in or not? I was actually just reading that the defense manufacturing capabilities there, the workers are now no longer allowed to take vacation. So they need them to stay on the line, pumping out, you know, different material and more to send to the front line. He has the choice of he can respond to this with basically giving into this criticism. No more just like sideshow war, like a full-scale war.
Yeah.
But that has major political ramifications for him. And I do think this is gonna test his popularity too, which is that he's got to make that choice. Are you going to full-scale mobilize Russian society towards this goal or not? Or, I mean, even if they do increase the amount of material or conscripts or the Russian army, some major other reforms, it could still will mean it will have major domestic political ramifications in Russia. So, but to have the Russian commentariat, you know, even the pro-Kremlin commentariat and all of this, just hammer the Russians domestically and online, which is, look, it's an important political force in its own right, and probably has more sway over Putin and the, you know, pro-Kremlin people than anything else. They're like, no, now you need to, quote, take the gloves off. That's also very within the realm of possibility. And remember, you know, they still have a tremendous amount of arms and other power that they can bring to bear in the conflict. They just haven't because they've been treating it kind of as a sideshow.
Yeah, that's the important thing to understand is when these like ultra-nationalist, pro-war Russian bloggers who have deep connections to the FSB and also to, you know, directly the military, when they are complaining about how the war is being executed, they mean we need to go further. We can't have this half in, half out. We need a full-scale mobilization. We need to sell this war to the public, and we need to go all the way in. That's really important to keep in mind, is that there is a more hawkish faction, and that is the pressure they are putting on Putin, is you have to go full scale, declare war, mobilize the public. That's very difficult at this point because, yeah, from the beginning, I mean, he didn't sell this as a war at all. You weren't even allowed to say that it's a war on Russian state TV. So then to convince the public, like, oh, not only is this a war, it's a just war, and we need you to sacrifice, and we need you to step up, and we need to have conscription. That's a tough sell at this point, and he's obviously been going in the opposite direction of doing that. So I mentioned before they were having these big Moscow city, the celebrations of the city's birthday and big fireworks displays, even as these humiliating defeats are going on the battlefield. Putin was like inaugurating a new Ferris wheel on the very day that this is all going down. So he's still trying to play this game of like, oh, well, it's no big deal over here. We're doing fine. Everything's great. And life can go on as normal in Moscow and throughout Russia. But that is becoming an increasingly untenable position. And just to tell you, like, how much little like glimmers of truth are starting to seep in and how many people are starting to get frustrated with how this effort is going. That dude who's the strongman leader of Chechnya, Ramzan Kadyrov, is that how you say his name?
Kadyrov, yeah.
He's even acknowledging and accusing the Russian military of making, quote, mistakes and failing to explain the retreat to the public. You've got Sergei Mironov, who's a leader of a pro-Putin party in parliament, criticizing the authorities for celebrating that at Moscow's annual City Day this weekend, posting on Twitter, quote, "It cannot be and should not be that our guys are dying today and we're pretending that nothing is happening." You have another Kremlin analyst who appears on state TV saying because of some mistakes unknown to us, control over political processes is being lost. I guarantee you this confusion will not last long, but right now it's a mess. So you have people also agitating for more accurate information and being more straight with the public about what is going on. And there were a lot of clips floating around also of Russian state TV with some sort of like some candor, some very unusual candor and soul searching happening where there was some realization that things are really not going well and they've got to change tacks.
Hey,
here.
listen,
So,
that's only a good thing. I mean, if we could get it so the domestic political calculation makes it so that no more offensive is supported by the Russians, that's a fantastic victory. And maybe then the Russians will actually come to the negotiating table in a different form, and we would see how even that is received by the Ukrainians. So look, once again, successful military campaign by Ukraine has two options. They can go all in or they can go the other way. I hope that they go the diplomatic route, but there's no evidence to support that right now from Putin. He is doubled down. I think he's probably too far in at this point. At this point, he's so tied to the campaign and all that, he just simply can't admit defeat.
For him personally, it's existential.
It seems to be.
And that's a scary situation. We should never lose sight of that when you're talking about a nuclear power. And any sort of, in the most maximalist situation, the Ukrainians actually win. It does trigger some sort of Putin being pushed down and some sort of power vacuum in Russia. Like chaos and instability in a nuclear power is a scary thing to contemplate. Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.